Hello
Okay, all the
everyone.
best.
As per our requirement of a failed project, today here we are with one of the failed project called English Channel Tunnel. So first of all, I would like to thank our tutor and unit coordinator for giving us opportunity to present on this topic. I myself, Sampanna Shrestha, is along here with Navin and Niraj to present on this topic. So basically, what we are discussing about here is English Channel Tunnel. So what is this channel tunnel about? So it is nothing but a tunnel that is connecting between England and France. It is a 31.35 miles tunnel that is built across England and France. So it basically consisted of three tunnels in the project. Two tunnels were for rail traffic and one for emergency, security, and service purposes. So, why was it considered as a failed project? There are several issues with the project. The first major issue that it is considered as a failed one is that the actual cost of the project was way higher. That was approximately double, and it was 1 year behind the schedule. The project was supposed to be finished in the year 1993, but it took 1 year more and finished it in 1994. So there are different sponsors of project. There were several issues in this project. All of the issues we'll be discussing and presenting on here for you within the 15 minutes of time. So going along further, so these are the introduction that I have already discussed you about. Now, what are the major reasons for failure of this project? So the basic major reason for the failure was very less time was given for bidders. So the contracting companies who were applying to get this project, they were given very less time. So they estimated very low for this project without management of every scope and cost. Hence, the underestimated cost was there during the initial phase. Similarly, while the project was undergoing, there were several scope changes in project which lead to overrun in the project. Furthermore, there were dispute between the Eurochannel Tunnel and the TML, which was the contracting company. And again, there was IGC, which imposed several rules on safety and design, which was inevitable because while the project was undergoing and the scope changes caused them to add a ventilator and different kinds of safety issues. For example, the doors were expanded from 6 millimeter to 7 millimeter, and several kind of issues um, which could not be outrun, and the project was finally considered as a failure due to the cost and budget issue. And there was lack of proper communication between the two separate channels, tunnel channels. So the England and France, they were not communicating properly. So as a result of that, there was a little bit failure, which led to the failure of the project. Now, for further slide, I would like to call my friend Navin to discuss further.
Thank you, Sampanna. I'm going to explain about the control system, major main part of the tunnel system. Control system is very important to succeed every mega project. This is also a big project having a cost of 4.2 billion. Control system is very important to encourage, estimate, and predict judgment in the future. That when control system is better, then the project will be complete on time, and it doesn't overrun the scope, cost, and the schedule. It helps to make the better decision by utilizing resource properly. First one is cost control system. Cost control system is also important because otherwise the project is going out beyond the schedule and cost overruns. Yes, there are some different tools like resource planning, cost budgeting, cost control methods are used, uh, and that can be controlled by internally or externally by a client or by the stakeholders. This should be controlled, otherwise it overruns the budget. Here in the tunnel project, the estimated cost is 4.2 billion, and it eventually overruns almost by double, up to 7.2 billion. The baseline was created, and the different investigation and verification analysis was done. However, it overruns. Next slide. Schedule control is second one is must be important, and here the input are schedule baseline and schedule data are used for input to control the schedule, and there are tool and techniques such as leads and lags, schedule compression, variance analysis, that helps to measure the preceder and successor tasks between the while completing the project. These tools are very important, which will output, which gives the output that which gives the output and complete on the project on time. The status reports are also discussed between the two parties, and the project management plan should be updated to control the schedule. Uh, Next slide, please. Control scope. Scope should be controlled. Here in the tunnel project, scope is enormous, and due to a lack of communication and various reasons, the scope is widens, and the project is in this tunnel project, the future demanding should not be analyzed first, but it should be done at the initial phase. Demand forecasting will forecast what kind of necessity should be taken in the project. And for example, in tunnel project, there are two parties propose and pass the air conditioning system between door and tunnel. This should be done by proper communication and meetings, conference and meeting. So smoke control is increment successfully via meetings. Next one is quality control. Quality control is also have a significant impact on the at the designing and planning phase. Quality control in tunnel project, quality is maintained without any compromising, and based on the ISO standards. Uh, they use control chart, rally sheet, and meetings and quality audits to control the quality, and they stratify different tasks by meetings. And quality audit has done every 3 months to assess the whole quality and standards. Next slide. Uh, to success the whole project management actions should be done to control cost, time, and quality. First of all, it should be the project manager should be map the project scope. Then after, secondly, they estimate the duration, what duration should be required for the whole project. When schedule was done, they estimated the cost initially by predicting all tasks needed for the project. There should be create a formal communication between the stakeholders, project managers, and the client. When client they have a proper communication, the all the staffs are organized, and they should be identify all the risks and hazards should be identified at first. Otherwise, it will uh, disturb whole project and the scope, quality, and the time is overrun. Next slide. Analysis for cost and schedule development. Analysis for cost and schedule is very important during the project. When cost and schedule is analysis at first, this should be done properly. Here in the tunnel projects, the IGC, the power of authority, requests to widen the doors from 600 mm to 700 mm. They have some they included the air conditioning systems. They concern with the safety issues and emergencies, ventilation systems. Ultimately, they increment the cost up to US $9 million to $70 million, and finally it delays by 9 months, around 1 year, and completed in 1994. there are some frequent changes in during the designing and planning phase of this tunnel project, and there is no lack of any precedent related experience between the project manager and stakeholders. Due to ineffective and unnecessary changes and specifications have drawn the project schedule and cost is overrun. I'm going to hand over the next slide for Niraj Subedi. Thank you.
Thank you, Navin. Here is the analysis for the scope and quality overrun. No, previous slide, please. Yeah. Like here, the scope was not clearly defined at the initial phase of the project. Like it was changed in various phases of the project due to the lack of initiating and planning in the board members. The quality overrun, and due to the sophisticated like advanced tools and technique used, where less sophisticated also can be used, and a poor quality analysis and vision. Due to the poor quality analysis and vision of the board member, the scope overruns. Next slide. Like how project management action can be taken to better control stakeholder needs and influence. As you all know that in any project, in any mega project, stakeholders played a vital role. So in the first place, the project manager should identify the project stakeholders, how they can impact, how much power they have, how much can they influence regarding the project, and how because in the course of project, the expectation of the stakeholders can be reviewed, and so that the project can be completed within that time and budget. And develop communication strategy is the second thing to consider. Like in any project, to consider it successful, communication is the must. And like there are different kind of strategies can be used, like mailing, a meeting, or like twice a month, like that. And perform risk analysis. In any mega project, there is a chance of a risk factor. So project managers should be prepared in advance how to mitigate that kind of risk, which can be occurred in the project. And project managers should also evaluate success and exit plans, like how much the project has been progressed, well they are within the budget and the given time or not. Next slide. How project execution team is responsible to the problems that has occurred in the project. Like many mistake has been occurred by different people in some instances due to the IGC's scope changes. It create the problems in the budget, and due to the extending work, it ultimately hamper the total schedule. And due to the huge communication gap between the British and the French team who were working on the both ends of the tunnel, it was difficult for them to communicate. And rolling stack, which they are going to use in the tunnel, was of different specification, and they need to agree on the session as soon as possible, but that doesn't happen. And due to the IGC's authority to have full scope control, but they have not any permission to give additional funding. And due to the over management of risk, it also led to the unnecessary expenses of the project. Next slide. Here are recommendation how the project can be successful without a failure. Like scope management, clear scope of the project should be defined in the initial phase, and there should be the a plan for scope contingency, because there's a huge risk for the scope creep. And the risk management, a better risk management framework can be implemented. Management framework can be implemented for the communication management. Proper communication could have been done between the stakeholder and the project teams, and so on. Like the stakeholder management, like a specific stakeholder management plan should have been used. Like there was in the joint project, there was a communication gap between the board members and the, like IGCs, for instance, and TML. Next slide. Here's the conclusion of the project. Like due to the a change in scope during the course of projects. Many times it leads to the cost and schedule overrun. And being project owners and investor were keen to on a review on its construction rather than on the operation. And and IGC was given free regime to control the project and impose different safety rules and regulation, which was unavoidable due to the IGC's author. Right, there was various changes in the safety rules, like changing the door from 600 mm to 700 mm and installation of air conditioning system. And due to IGC, the deliver quality of was excellent. Like due to the project was excellent, so that it has been recognized as one of the wonder of the modern world by American Society of Civil Engineer. And next slide. Here are the references that we use in our projects. That's all. Thank you.